All right. Say you wrote the intro twice. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Weekly Spaceflight. My name is Marcus, also known as Max Aerospace, and today we are awaiting a Ship 20 static fire test. This is my first stream over here at Weekly Spaceflight, and I believe the intro is still rolling. Marlon.
I'm muted. Okay, no, I'm muted. Yeah, I had to set up everything again. So.
Are we good?
So now, yes, now works. Start with Zoom cam. This one here, under the overlay under here. No, like this. So no, yes, it's working. I fixed it.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes. It's working perfectly right now.
All right, let's try that again. As I was saying, good evening. This is Weekly Spaceflight, and my name is Marcus, also known as Max Aerospace. And this evening we are hosting the Ship 20 static fire test, or at least waiting for it. Currently, there's a lot of activity going on at the pad. As you may see in the corner of your screen, there is a crane currently attached. Well, not a crane, but a boom lift next to B4. There's currently some activity on the orbital launch mount. We are waiting for the pad to be cleared and hopefully a sheriff to arrive. So at this moment in time, we are waiting. This is a waiting game for a Ship 20 static fire attempt.
So
now,
yeah,
for those of you who are...
I'm actually gonna go away for a minute or so, or until some activity starts, because I still have to study for some exams and do some work. But I hope you enjoy the stream, and we'll see you later.
All right, catch you in a bit, Marlon. For those of you who are currently watching or have just joined, my name is Marcus, and we are awaiting a Ship 20 static fire attempt. Now, Ship 20 has been sitting on the pad for around a couple months now, I believe. We've seen, so far in terms of Ship 20 attempt, we've seen cryogenic proofing, we've seen pressure tests, we've seen a pre-burner, and 2 static fire attempts. So we've had a RVAC and a sea level, and now we are hoping this evening to see a 6-engine static with the 3 RVACs and the 3 sea level Raptors. Now, there's 2 ways this could possibly happen. We could either see a static fire of the 3 RVACs and then the 3 sea level, or we could see all at one go of all 6 engines. I'm not sure what's happening to the camera feed, but this is SPadre's feed, and we thank him very much for the feed and for giving us permission to use it. So yeah, please do bear with us for the feed. Now, Elon has mentioned in the past that a B4 and S20 orbital attempt could happen as soon as this month. However, with all the activity that's been going on with the launch mount, including the chopsticks, the QD arm, and the fact that there's been a load of fuel deliveries, there's been reaving underway on the tower, an orbital launch attempt this month is looking slim, but we still have hope. Now, I'm currently keeping an eye on the Cameron County website for any updates or possibly a sheriff at the closure point. I have the feeds up on a monitor here, just in front of me. But currently there doesn't seem to be any sign of a sheriff. Now, Ship 20, of course, is the first non-prototype ship, and also the first to be fully covered in TPS or thermal protection tiles as such. Of course, we had a few on SN8, a few on SN9, a bit more on SN10, and then of course we had a whole patch on the back of 15. These TPS tiles are designed to take and absorb all the heat energy on re-entry to the Earth's atmosphere after deorbiting. Now, with this being the first ship to be tested ready for an orbital flight, this is a critical test of Starship, both for NASA and SpaceX. Now, NASA chose Starship for the human landing system, which is going to the moon to support Artemis. And with a targeted landing of 2025, these systems need to be tested repeatedly and with good data and results. Awesome Dugby 2 says, Sheriff went to clear the beach around 3 hours ago. Right, okay. Thank you for that. I did not know that. But apart from that, there hasn't been much Sheriff activity. We haven't seen anything at the checkpoint. We've seen the SpaceX security Tesla go back and forth. Now, whether that's an attempt to clear the pad, we're not quite sure. But it has some promising signs. Now, of course, Ship 20 will have 6 engines. 3 RVAC engines and 3 sea level Raptor engines. The sea level is designed to push the Starship The RVAC engines, are designed to push the ship further into orbit once released from B4. B4, of course, being the booster for carrying 29 sea level Raptors. Now, over the past couple of weeks, we've seen teams at the SpaceX Starbase install thermal aero covers on these engines, which protects them on launch and re-entry to the Earth's atmosphere. Bear with me, I'm trying to pull up a tweet here. I can't remember the exact numbers from. All right. All right. So, with the recent firing of a Raptor vacuum engine, there were speculation as to how they were able to do that, and the answer was Raptor has a very high chamber pressure, which in turn allows for a large expansion ratio nozzle without flow separation at sea level, and that was in response to a question asked by Tim Dodd. Now, this obviously is a engine that's in development. Raptor is the next generation engine which uses liquid oxygen, liquid nitrogen, and methane. Of course, the first time these Raptors are tested, they're tested at the McGregor test facility before being transported to the production site to be installed on these starships. Now, we saw the first flight of a Raptor using Starhopper, also known as and loved as Hoppy, which was then transferred onto SN5 and SN6, which flew successfully to 150 meters and back, landed on the pad. And then, of course, we saw SN8 fly with 3 sea level Raptors, which catastrophically ended in kaboom. SN9, SN10, 11, and 15 also used 3 sea level Raptor engines, which were the Raptor version 1 engines, and are currently being used on Ship 20, and no doubt 21. Now, Raptor 2 is also in development, which is supposed to be much tidier, much larger in terms of bar and chamber pressure. So Elon Musk says here, the highest they've got a Raptor engine is 321 bar before a rud occurred. Now, this was due to an oxygen inlet pressure rather than engine issues. Now, whether this means they have to redesign the engine or just make a simple engineering tweak, we don't know the extent. But over the next few weeks, we hope to learn some more and hopefully see the first Raptor 2 being tested. Moving slightly away from the Starship topic, we of course have the NASA and SpaceX Crew 3 launch later tonight. Broadcast begins at 9:45 p.m. for those of you who live in the UK, which is, I believe, I don't know, what time is that in Eastern or Pacific? Anyone know? So that'll be 4:45 p.m. Eastern, with liftoff set for 2 a.m. 2 a.m. GMT or 9 p.m. Eastern, 1:45 Pacific. This comes after weeks of delays, by the way. So we had a scrubbed attempt due to weather along the ascent corridor. We then had a scrub due to a minor medical emergency with a crew member. And then we, of course, had the return of Crew 2, which now pushed it back to tonight. Now, if all goes well with a 70% favorable chance of liftoff, we could see Crew 3 dock to the station as early as tomorrow. Crew 3 will launch on a Falcon 9 rocket using the brand new Endurance capsule, or Dragon 2. And the crew are Roger Chari, Matthias. Oh, what's his last name? Give me a second. I need to pull up this feed again. My apologies. This is the first stream I've done. Okay, so we have Roger Chari, Caleb Barron, Thomas Marshburn, and Astro Matthias Mora. Coverage begins at 4:45 p.m. Eastern, and liftoff is set for 9:03 p.m. Eastern. Now, don't forget, Dragon is a fully autonomous crew capsule with the ability to automatically dock to the station using docking sensors and a brand new piece of technology that SpaceX introduced to Dragon known as Dragon Eye. The crew also have display panels above them so they can take full control of the capsule if an emergency were to occur or a malfunction of technology. Now, once ingressed into the capsule, the white team, they are in the crew access to help the crew ingress to the capsule, will then close the hatch to Dragon at around T-minus 3 hours and 15 minutes, I believe. Which will then bring crews into the launch position using seat rotation. Dragon will then be configured, ready for launch escape arming just moments before launch, making sure everything is nominal for launch, and then obviously at T0, liftoff. Originally, we had just read the instructions for booster recovery, but this time it has been replaced by ASOG, or a short fall of gravitas, which will recover Falcon 9 around 643 kilometers downrange. Don't quote me on that figure. Now, don't forget this was an 8-hour closure window from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. local. It is currently 1 p.m. with 5 hours left in the closure, which takes us up to midnight here in the UK. 7 p.m. Eastern. We are currently awaiting any signs of a road closure or soft closure, as there is currently nothing at the security checkpoint. Once again, for those of you who are just joining, today we are awaiting a Ship 20 static fire attempt. This is currently just a waiting game. For those of you who don't know who I am, this is my first time hosting a weekly spaceflight stream. My name is Marcus, also known as MaxQ Aerospace. You may have seen some of my tweets on Twitter. You should be seeing more of my face around here. I recently joined weekly spaceflight. Actually, I believe it was 24 hours ago, I believe. Something like that. I complained on Twitter that I wanted a PC to be a pro commentator for Falcon 9 launches, and then I got hit up by weekly spaceflight. 19 hours ago. And my tweet was, I need a PC to stream Falcon 9 launches and pretend I'm a pro commentator. Marlon's reply was, join Weekly Spaceflight. And then Weekly Spaceflight replied saying one of us, and there, I think it just went from there. Now, I'm going to go get a quick drink, but I will be back with you shortly. I will leave you with some views of the launch site. I will be back in a couple of minutes. All right, I am back. Now, moments ago, we saw two LOX tankers heading towards the pad. Now, whether that's for the orbital fuel farm or just the regular fuel farm, we have not a clue. But that indicates that they're fueling up for some sort of testing, which again could occur anytime within the next 5 hours. To those of you who are watching, do any of you have any questions? I'm happy to try and answer them as best as I can. Let's get some chat interaction, shall we? For those of you who are new around here, don't forget, chuck a like down below. And also don't forget to subscribe to Weekly Spaceflight, follow them on their social media page. That's twitter.com/Weekly Spacecast, link in chat. Go give them a follow. What's up, Moel HD? Good evening, how are you doing? All right, I am back. Currently, it does seem like there is no activity going on at the pad. We have tankers going to the fuel farm, and we have people still working over on the orbital launch mount. And it looks like we may have a Raptor lift underneath 20. So at the moment, activity towards clearing the pad is a no-go. I need this. You guys have any questions you'd like me to answer whilst we await a static fire attempt? Please feel free to tag me on Twitter, on Discord, or simply in chat. I will try my best to answer as many as possible. Also, we'd like to give a massive thank you to SPadre for the live view of the Starship launch facility. If it weren't for him, this stream would not be currently possible, as we don't have any other source of feed apart from SPadre, who unfortunately does not allow restreams of his cameras or feed. Someone just pointed out to me on the Discord SPadre that there was someone at the Nodal camera about 5 minutes ago. Interesting. Currently, bear with me. I'm trying to find some updates on tonight's proceedings. Not much happening, really. We have a lot of work still undergoing on the launch mount. Doesn't seem to be any attempt at clearing the people on the launch mount. There's a few people still on 20. And it is believed those tankers that were saw earlier towards the pad are at the orbital fuel farm, as there is no tankers in sight at the launch complex. We are seeing some action with the heat exchanger currently over at the fuel farm. The heat exchanger is on. Now, normally that's either for nitrogen purge or to start fuel activity, but are you able to tell me why B3 is still sitting on the launch pad? Good question. Now, B3 obviously was used for the first booster static fire test. It was then proceeded to be scrapped after B4 was built, obviously ready for flight testing. Now, B3 proved valuable data for both SpaceX and presumably NASA. But then it was decided by Elon that they would scrap B3 and instead focus their efforts both on B4 and Ship 20. And then B3 was sliced in half, and all that remains is the LOX tank. Now that is due way overdue to be taken off the launch mount and make way for a new ship. But when that will happen is a matter of when can Elon be bothered to make his team take it off the pad and transport for scrapping. So that's a very good question. Yeah, B3 is long scrapped. There will be no other testing with B3, and it's ready to be taken off the pad. There is a crane sat right behind B3, which could lift it off the pad at any point, and then it's a matter of when will they get a transport stand to take it back. But yeah, I think all their efforts are still focused on B4 and 20. Yeah, let's see when it'll happen. It's all a waiting game. It really is. You can't predict these things. Well, you can predict, but then you can be proven wrong. So We are still currently keeping an eye on Sentinel Cam, just for any signs of a sheriff or SpaceX security just to put up a bollard. But at the moment, nothing. Radar dishes are still pointing upwards. We are currently 3.5 hours into an 8-hour closure, so we still have 4.5 hours remaining for testing. Joe Tech Review, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. But don't forget, whilst you're here, chuck a like rating down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new. Weekly Spaceflight also has a Patreon, so you will get access to exclusive content if you become a channel Patreon. Links are on the Twitter page. It's also linked to the YouTube page for Twitter and the website. So if you'd like to support the channel, that would be a great way to do so. Are you going to stream Crew 3? Unfortunately not. Crew 3 would be too late in the evening for me, as the broadcast begins at 9:45 p.m. With liftoff set for 2:03 a.m. GMT, or the broadcast will begin at 4:45 Eastern, 1:45 Pacific, with liftoff set for 9:03 p.m. Eastern, or 6:45 p.m. Pacific. Patreon supporters will get exclusive content to Discord, so you get an exclusive Discord role, behind the scenes, content before it's released to YouTube. Patreon supporters will get to feedback and contribute towards videos that are published here on the channel. An alternative to streaming Crew 3 is we could stream a replay if you wanted us to, but that'd have to be at some point during the week or weekend, as I'm going to be extremely busy for the next couple of days. Where can I watch these pre-release videos? Patreon members will get exclusive videos released exclusively on Patreon. So that will be on the Patreon website itself. I'm currently in the process of putting all the supporting links in the chat, so you can go and check each individual one out. Patreon membership just starts at £1 a month, with the £1 getting a shout out on live streams and is a small donation here on the channel. A £3 membership gets you a small donation to the channel, fan requests, a video shout out, your ability to send requests, suggestions, and the £5 per month includes extras like Discord Patreon role, a access to Patreon section on the Discord. The role includes access to podcast live recordings, video shoutouts, fan requests, and of course, the Patreon role. £6.50. Everything from basic to live recording chat, Patreon Plus, live streams, video shoutouts, fan requests. And then working on the £12 one is the work in progress updates, merchandise, video shoutouts, and all of the above from all memberships, basically. Or the most easiest way and freest way to help us out is chucking a like and subscribing to the channel here on YouTube, following our Twitter page. That's twitter.com/weeklyspacecast. Also, this is my first stream here on Weekly Spaceflight or Spacecast. My name is Marcus, also known as Max Q Aerospace. And if you'd like to suggest any feedback or give criticism based on my performance on today's live stream, please feel free to do so. I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/Max Q Aerospace. I'm also on Discord, that's #personM, #3471. It seems we have a weather front in Boca Chica currently. The South Padre feed is covered in fog. Wind speeds seem to be picking up. Whether that's on South Padre or Boca Chica, we currently have no idea. There still seems to be no activity towards clearing the pad just yet. There's no security at the checkpoint. So again, it's just a waiting game. As I say, feel free to ask some questions, tag me in Twitter, or put your questions in the comments. I will do my absolute best to answer them, and we'll just have a good time whilst we wait for any signs of activity from Boca Chica. Don't know what that means, but please translate into English. Oh, the fog witches strike too. Okay. Marlon, I'm gonna have to DM you real quick. Well, guys, I do sincerely apologize, but it looks like there isn't any activity going to happen for a few hours, if anything at all tonight. I have other priorities that I need to attend to. So unfortunately, I am going to have to end the stream here. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening here on Weekly Spaceflight. It's been a great first stream, and I look forward to streaming more with you in the future for future launch activities or Starship activity. So have a great evening, and I hope to see you all again very, very soon. Bye.